Hurricane Melissa is now down to a Category 1 storm system here as it passes over the Bahamas. A far cry from where it was just 24 hours ago when it was a Category 5 moving over Jamaica. And that's what the mountains of Jamaica and Cuba have done to the storm system. Absolutely ripped it apart, but unfortunately in its wake, it has left some serious damage. Overall, combined, the death toll continues to rise, now over 30. That includes Haiti, where some serious flooding has taken place from the storm system, as well as the impacts there in Jamaica, Cuba, and now we're watching this move over the Bahamas. And even though it is a relatively weaker storm, it is by no means weak. In fact, the Bahamas, very shallow slope leading up to the coastline. You don't have a lot of topography here. So there is that chance, of a sea level rise up to 5 to 8 feet max, according to the NHC. And there could still be some storm surge threats out here. But at least the good news, it is moving along, racing off towards the north and east here as we go ahead through tonight and into tomorrow, actually passing very close to Bermuda. And Bermuda is even under hurricane warnings at this time because they're anticipating at least Category 1 winds there on that island. So it's not just a localized threat here to the Bahamas, parts of the Turks and Caicos, and still have the hurricane warnings in for Cuba, but I expect them to drop soon as this moves off towards north. By the way, on this satellite imagery, you can kind of see this front moving into northeastern Florida, southeast Georgia. I'll talk about that in a second and how that's ushering this along, and it's going to draw in some cooler air with it. But let's talk about the intensity of this when it did make landfall, by the way. I just want to really stress this, and I have another update at firstcoastnews.com breaking this down. But Melissa was 185 mile per hour winds, pressure down 892 at landfall, marking it tied for one of the strongest storms at landfall on record. Now, I want to emphasize that because, of course, like Wilma was stronger when it was out over the open ocean, but we've never had a storm at this intensity once it came on shore. Usually, even when they get near the coast, friction kind of weakens them. This intensified up to that moment where it crossed over the land there, just right around Black River, where I have seen some serious damage out of that area. Check out First Coast News here this evening. We're gonna have plenty of video out of that area. One other thing, just a little note. Watch if you're watching this, I'm sure you're seeing other stuff posted online. Make sure you verify everything you see. Unfortunately, it is 2025 and there is a lot of fake AI images out there of the damage. It's sad, but it is true. Unfortunately, people try to take advantage and share stuff. So make sure the information you are seeing, you verify it, and you make sure it's real. Try to get it from a credible source. Anyways, so here's a look at that track moving off towards the north. Timing by Thursday. Well, Thursday night it passes Bermuda, and by Friday, Halloween here, we're over with. This storm moves away off towards the north. But you can see that front I was talking about that's moving across the southeast. That is going to help basically push this along, and that is going to usher in so much cooler and drier air on the backside of it. So still windy, you can see here. I mean, over Port Nelson, probably the spot that's getting hit the worst here today. Still going to be seeing hurricane strength winds. But then this passes near Bermuda, winds upwards of right there, 69 miles per hour sustained. Probably going to see gusts maybe higher than that. But look at that big wind field off towards the west. That is that cruising of that cooler air coming in, which is going to allow the temperatures to drop on the backside of this to some of the coolest of the year across the southeast. For example, I mean, this is just a graphic showing the moisture. It's going to be cool and dry. And where I am here in Jacksonville, our temperature is going to be down to the lower 40s. We haven't seen that yet here this year, and it is a side effect of this hurricane. So just want to mention that as well. Of course, always keeping you posted here at First Coast News. If you have any questions, let me know. And our biggest point here in making these videos, they're a little bit longer format than you see on TV, is so I can get in details and educate and inform. So in the future, you know what to expect with these storm systems. And this one has been just off the charts, especially back there near Jamaica. And it is going to be some time for them to pick up out here. Communications down, infrastructure has been impacted. Really serious stuff. So I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. As always, if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Number one, stay safe out there. Okay, friends? Have a good day.